I want to see CE show that they've still got it. Every time they go there, they run the exact same comp, and it works every time. It's not, it's towers, but that's still pretty reasonable.
It's still pretty amazing. And once again, it is a fantastic Stitches map. And I felt like Stitches was basically one of the major counters to what RPG had to offer here. So many times did he get good hooks in. So many times could he basically pave the way for his allies to collapse on. And Tetcher, I'm afraid to tell you this, RPG have yet to win any game on this battleground.
Ugh, that's not good, whereas CE have only managed to lose once the entire time they have been here. That's going to be a difficult matchup for anyone.
For anyone indeed, and keep in mind, Zuyu on Towers of Doom, that's a 100% Chromie. I'm gonna call it right now. I think it's by far the best map for Chromie. It's the safest one. You can posture up and siege up so safely there. There's only so many ways an enemy can flank you from, and there's not a lot of, trust me, because of the way the map was designed. So already, if I were RPG, I would be like, red alert, we need to take care of the Chromie, or maybe even ban it out in the second phase.
So, that is the case. Down goes Tassadar. Once again, going to be having a Tassadar-less game here.
Don't hate it. I don't hate it. Tassadar is certainly a threat. And the Greymane gets banned, so the Genji's open, Tetcher.
It is open. Would RPG be willing to take it? That would be an Infinity pick, I believe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Chicken does not play Genji, or at least we haven't seen him play Genji. It was always Infinity who stepped up.
No Locktar Genji either, if I can remember correctly. So, it's still strong. I don't see much reason to just not go for this unless they already have a draft in their head. To be fair, they've been going very heavily on the Medivh. They have a really decent Stitches player in the form of Wang, so in theory they could go for the good old Gorge Portal composition that has another name that I refuse to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great map for Medivh, for sure. It's a great map for Stitches.
A chicken first pick in the form of that Dahaka. Now, Global's always nice. This can be counteracted fairly easily with an Abathur, for example. Rip Falstad, by the way. Rip that other Global.
What happened to the Birdman? I mean, we still see him plenty of times in Europe or NA, but China seems to have completely forgotten about him. That's an excellent point.
Yeah, you never see like a Falstad double support in China or anything like that. It's unfortunate. Oh well. Like a secret weapon plasma Falstad seems like it would actually be kind of fun.
Right.
Like leeching plasma, the secret weapon would just heal so much. Speaking of that double support, it's the opening to it with Valor and Uther. There's still the potential of running this with a Brightwing or any other double support like an Ariel.
Yep. Definitely true. Uther Ariel is a very, very scary thing to behold. So unless RPG wants to pick the Ariel for themselves, or maybe even ban it out in the second round, I think they should definitely go for it. However, if you pick Ariel now, guess what's going to be coming up for CE? 100% Chromie and Zuyu. If there's any Chromie in China that I would deem international top 3, top 5 level, it would be Zuyu on the Chromie. His Chromie is so deadly.
Seems very reasonable.
By the way, if you had to put 3 players into the top 3 Chromie spots of all time in the world, who would it be right now?
Shrimpy.
Yep.
Probably Infinity, but I want more data to confirm that.
Gotcha.
And then, it's a tough one because it's got like a 3-way tie between like dudes that's playing Ducks, etc. Some of the Korean teams.
Yep.
That's why I could pick a number 3. Right? Too many.
There we go. Also, can't forget about Mene. Like Mene's Chromie's nuts.
That was the Dignitas version. Morales being hovered as the ban. As CE have been watching RPG's previous games.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you saw Dignitas vs Fnatic, Expert last weekend on Sunday, you could see how much work a Morales can do if you don't have a comp that can dive her, if you don't have a comp that can threaten her. And for the same reason why Chromie is so good here, Morales can actually be a considerable force on Towers of Doom. You can't flank her that well. You can't really get past the front line that easily in order to reach her. So I don't hate that ban, to be honest.
I don't either. They know their opponents and they know the powers of the hero, and as such, Morales is banned out. Infinity looks pensive. Doesn't appear to be too disappointed by the removal of the Morales.
So there's still an Auriel available. Combine that with Lunara, I think it would make a lot of sense. But is CE going to let that one go through? Because I'm pretty sure they realize by now that they can still pick the Auriel for themselves, especially with the Vala, especially with the first pick. It needs to be an Auriel ban just to be in the safe side here for RPG. I can't see them going for any other ban. Maybe Malthael, but I don't know. They're taking their sweet time as well, dropping down. 20 seconds left on the clock.
I'm leaning towards the Malthael. I think that's probably Malthael or Genji, because he's still available.
Genji, true. It's actually a fantastic map for Genji as well. There's plenty of terrain he can use to escape or initiate from a hidden angle. It's actually crazy. Yeah, it had to be the Auriel. Okay. I totally agree.
Yeah. That's fine. The double support, too scary for them. There's still potential for it, but Auriel would have been the best option, even if they did plan on going Kroby. Too rough. And it is double support. Here is the Rhaegar and Leo. And as such, RPG have actually limited their own support options by banning out that Auriel.
Yeah, very true. I think this was basically the one and only reason why CE went for the Rhaegar. If Auriel hadn't been banned, they could have maybe deviated towards a different hero. They could have maybe ignored the double support altogether. But this is strictly a statement towards RPG. They're like, we're going to nail you down. We're going to limit your support options to the point where we don't think that Sa can actually play anything to keep yourselves alive. However, I think Sa has improved a lot over the last few weeks, and his Kharazim has been pretty deadly too.
Yes, it has. There's Brightwing, Kharazim left, Lily, but not really.
Yeah, there's
Randa, but that's a double support, which they could do.
I wouldn't hate it. Malfurion is still available.
Malfurion as well. The Malfurion to Randa, maybe. Go for that big old lockdown combo.
Oh, this is so intense.
Brightwing and Kharazim, it is double support.
Okay, well, that basically paves the way for Kharazim to play full aggression mode, full melee assassin mode, kind of. Because Brightwing will always be there to back the backline up. And Lunara single DPS though, and this time she has to face double support, and Rhaegar has a lot more AoE healing at his disposal than Uther could. So,
So, who's playing what? Like, I assume Chicken's on the Dahaka, but if he's not, then maybe there's a chance we could see Chicken on Kharazim.
Very true. We've always been asking for this. We were like, yeah, Chicken, you can do that. You're a melee assassin player by heart, and you're mechanically pretty well equipped to play Kharazim, so just go for it. I would hope for it.
Well, we will have to see. It would be cool to see, but right now the Dahaka calls for Chicken, it being the usual one he's been going for these last couple days. But let's see if CE can take a 2-0 versus RPG, or whether RPG are going to steal yet another 1-1 from one of the teams at the top of the table.
Gotta tell you, I gotta be honest here, Tetcher. I think I'm a little bit concerned for RPG's damage output against the double support that CE just drafted. I'm not sure if Lunara, by herself, with the help of a little bit of Kharazim, a little bit of Dahaka, is going to be enough to put enough pressure on this Rhaegar Uther. What do you think?
Potentially could be an issue. Here's the question: does 7-sided appeal to you for that reason?
Oh yeah, totally. I think you don't need the pawn here against the double support comp.
Even though it's technically a hook double support comp?
Oh yeah, even one more reason, because if Kharazim gets hooked, you can use it 7-sided. It's very, very good against Stitches in general, so I wouldn't hate it.
Fair enough. Let's see if that's what they go for. As ladies and gentlemen, we are loading into game number 2. It's going to be on Towers of Doom between CE and RPG. And spawning on the left-hand side, it is going to be Challenge, with Alufal playing Rhaegar, Wind on Stitches, KTY playing the Uther, Paradise on Leoric, and Zuyu is going to be playing Vala.
And with their backs against the wall here, RPG on the Reds. What? That's not Soa? What? don't do this to me. We have, we have Chicken on whatever. On the Dahaka, Infinity on Karazim, Sa on the Brightwing, and Loktar on the Lunara, Wang on the ETC. Thanks. Oh, the Chinese production crew on fleek here. But yeah, we do have Infinity on the Karazim. That's a rare sight indeed.
Indeed, especially seeing as when it comes to flexes, he's often the one on the ranged fights. So, kinda cool. Sa preferring to jump back to Brightwing, one of his old favourites. We'll see Wang getting drained of his hope, but able to move back in time to maybe pick up the kill here. Looking for a loophole. Poison! Tick, tick, tick. He gets a globe. He kills the minion to grab a globe here, I think. Oh. Nope, still dead.
That had to be the slowest of deaths I've ever seen in HGC China. He tried so hard, but no cooldowns were ready. Not his own chain heal, and not the Uther Holy Light to keep him safe and sound. The globe just delaying the inevitable, but also pace and usage here from Lunara to wait for the W and spread the poison even more. Oh man, that was a very unfortunate death.
Yeah, but it's still first blood. Going over to RPG here. Let's have a quick look at level 1 talents. Teleport cooldown reduction. The seemingly go-to talent for Brightwing these days at level 1. That natural perspective coming in for Lunara. That extra vision. And Prog Rock makes a triumphant return on a map where globes are actually farmable.
Yep, there we go. So ETC is definitely going to be very sustaining towards the later stages of the game. You also need to consider Prog Rock on maps that guarantee you, or at least have a higher probability of making it into the late game, whereas Sky Temple very often actually doesn't even go all the way until like 18, 19, and 20, where sometimes the Prog Rock gets finished. On Towers of Doom, you basically have that guaranteed level 20 late game, so you're more than likely going to complete it. It's kind of nice. Wang, although I'm kind of curious. Early. Yep, that is a very early camp here on the side of RPG.
So what are you curious about Wang?
Yeah, I'm curious about Wang going for the stage dive once again, or if he's going mosh pit this time around.
Both would be reasonable here. There's only 2 interrupts unless we see a Divine Storm in the form of Rain of Vengeance and a hook.
Yeah.
So yeah, both be reasonable. Right now we see a 1-for-1 trade. Leoric and Dahaka, neither one have rotated down. Dahaka can obviously rotate faster. Slight denial by Loktar, holding it together. Also, could someone please isolate the audio of I'm Curious About Wang? Thank you. As we do see the RPG moving forward, putting some pressure on. And with the Dahaka rotating down, this should be the ulti going over to them. But Wind and KTY trying to deny that from happening.
And now it's all about just stalling. KTY and the Uther tried to drop in another Holy Radiance, but of course it's not worth dying over a potential delay of, let's say, 2 seconds or so, especially not if there's a mercenary knocking at your front door as well. So in the end, it was RPG who managed to claim another altar, and this is kind of cool. You know, it's definitely CE's home turf, so seeing that RPG has what it takes to fight them on even terms, at least in the early game, is pretty awesome. It promises us to be a good game, at least for now. By the way, Brightwing going full teleport build, so a lower cooldown, nice. Peekaboo, dropping a little bit of vision, and most likely the shield at level 7.
There is still the potential for the cleanse, but the only cleanses really are against Uther, so the shield I think would definitely get a little bit more value here. We'll see if that's what we see, but of course cleanse would allow Mosh Pit a little bit more value. They left themselves very flexible. Chicken holding the line. Very camp-heavy game by RPG. Karazim being very much the solo mercenary on the team, as Chicken just defends it.
I love that term, mercenary.
Mercenary error. Add as many ERs on the end as you can, and you've effectively Englished.
Here we go. That's how it's done. Now, Wang casually dodging Stitch's hook. Now, in terms of Leoric builds, we have seen a couple of abominations yesterday, as I want to call them, with a royal focus, but then going for the ghastly reach. I would not prefer to see that again, despite the fact that it won the game. But let's see what Zuyu is Paradise, is going to go for here. The level 7 still left blank. Of course, Leoric, if he goes for the lingering apparition, which he actually does lock in, he can now effectively soak against the likes of Dahaka, because on Towers of Doom, you can totally use one Wraithwalk to make it all the way from middle to bottom or top lane, which is kind of cool.
Right now, it's looking like RPG are going to be comfortable with a 1-1 trade. Brightwing heading down to the bottom area. Lunara zoning out aggressively. Drag hits Stitches. Not the best target, but it's good enough distraction for Brightwing to claim those lower shots. Karazim trying to be sneaky, claiming those upper shots, but Leoric will be enough to deny him here, at least for now.
Exactly, Uther constantly throwing down those holy shocks against Lunara. And whenever there's a map being played where you need to have a lot of poke in order to interrupt enemies from taking an objective, we see an increased likelihood of Uther going for that holy shock because his range on the Q is going to be significantly increased. You can delay and prevent enemies from taking objectives by shocking them, so that's kind of cool. But what is that? Just fight already!
They're waiting it out. They're waiting it out. Eoric and Dahaka are soaking. Eoric's actually coming down to help, though. Looks like he may attempt another go here. And because Dahaka's not here, they have a good chance to do this. Good knockback by Wang, but he still takes a lot of damage. Cleanse was taken by Brightwood, which does allow him to escape here. Infinity, though, not so lucky. He goes down, and this will guarantee CE the second set of towers. Saar falls point blank. I didn't realize there. I thought he was going top, but he survived, so well done.
Totally thought he was going top, but I think clicking on that hero right next to you was a little bit faster, and every millisecond basically counted here, because otherwise that Brightwing would have been Fairy Dragon Dust. So, yeah, really nice reaction coming in, but also strong damage by CE once again. I don't think RPG should have lingered for that long, knowing that Dahaka was not at their side.
Hook lands on Lunara, no heroic to get her out of here. She gets a speed boost, only a small one, but a speed boost and a little bit of spell armor. Oh. From Brightwing as Loktar leaps to freedom and barely gets out.
KTY is hungry. He's all about them kills here on that Uther. He really wants to shock them to death. It's just such an underrated source of damage throughout the game. It's very consistent. And especially when there's not a whole lot of burst healing available, it can really be the icing on the cake sometimes to really guarantee a kill.
Very true. More mercs taken here by RPG. They're being very merc heavy, like we said. Heroics available though for CE. Divine Storm, Ancestral Healing, Entomb, question mark, and question mark. There's Gorge. Rain of Vengeance should be the option. Yeah, just in case ETC does pick Mosh. Speaking of which, here's level 10 for RPG. It is Mosh, Isolation, Leaping Strike, Emerald Wind, and Divine Palm. No 7-sided strike.
Exactly. Going for the additional protection here for the panic button. That is Divine Palm. Can be very nice. Although, you need to be careful not to overlap it with Brightwing healing, which Brightwing can't always control, right? So sometimes the shield coming in, or she went cleanse, never mind. But sometimes the Brightwing healing could interfere here, although that's probably a very slim chance of happening. So, the Emerald Wind also could kind of mess up the mosh pit. So, RPG, from the way they play this, they need to execute it very, very carefully.
Yeah, execution is the point here. Big focus on 3TC, dropping him low. Currently, a couple members grouped up here because he's Zuyu, staying away from his team. He has the most consistent interrupt here. Here's Paradise, Divine Storm focusing down, and Loktar gets palmed. Somehow lives anyway, unless the hook can land on him. It's going to be only Dahaka that falls here. Infinity actually dashes in. Saar, help him. And Saar teleporting out once again, this time going to the mid lane. Shots will be taken here. Lunara will be able to get those relatively, oh, maybe not uncontested. Wind's getting close. It might not be in time.
That was unfortunate. Thank God Saar made it, because he tried to dismount Wind on the Stitches, who was basically trying to interrupt Loktar from capturing this altar, but almost had he fallen victim to a gank in the process, and as such, once again, another altar falling into the hands of CE. They're slowly but surely finding their way back into the game.
Very nice Entomb was really what allowed them to turn that round there. Able to isolate the correct heroes. Even the Leaping Strike, Lunara, yeah, she got out, but then what? Karazi was isolated, Dahaka was isolated. Not going well this time. They are struggling, once again, RPG struggling to get the majority of their control out. They attempt a gank on Zuyu, and he is gone. Infinity dashing back over the wall. Like they were never even there if it wasn't for the corpse they left behind.
It was a pretty swaggy kill by that gang squad, dashing over the wall and getting out of harm's way in the nick of time. That was kind of cool. And without Vala, basically CE can't contest anything, and they're not even trying. They're trying to stay safe behind the walls, trying to not fall victim to yet another ETC power slide. But yeah, no mosh pit used in the previous team fight as well, Tetra. It seems like Wang has to count so many important cooldowns. As you said, there's plenty of interrupts. Divine Storm, Uther Stun, Rain of Vengeance, the Gorge, even, or a hook if there's nobody blocking it. So it's really, really hard to find that good angle, that good time window to drop the big dance party.
Exactly. They need to make sure that basically Valor and Stitches need to be the ones next to each other. Uther they can maybe get away with due to the low radius of the Divine Storm. If Uther accidentally messes up, it can be bad, and if not, Burning Divine Storm for just an interrupt isn't ideal. So he just needs to make sure that he gets Stitches and Valor minimum. Rhaegar would be perfect as well to remove that healing. It's a rough selection of people that he has to really make sure he gets. Minimize healing, get the people who can interrupt. Not easy for him.
What's kind of cool is the level 7 choice here by Lufel, KTY, excuse me, on the Uther. He went for Guardian of the Ancient Kings. In the meantime, Infinity going full Merryday mode, using his Earth ally and a couple of minions before that in order to kill here. Cleanse getting ETC out of the way here by Brightwing. Beautiful played.
Cleanse is back and forth actually. ETC moving in for Zuyu, who gets cleansed by Rhaegar, and then ETC is cleansed by his team as well. Ancestral being dropped on Zuyu, who's trying to turn around after taking a huge amount of damage. Locked off from the back, just poking down. And once again, it's Dahaka that falls.
Yeah, this time actually Wang tried to go for the mosh pit. He was interrupted in the casting animation, and that explains the 10-second cooldown, and now Locktar getting imprisoned here by the Entomb.
Leaping's up into the palm, saving him. Leaping's up, and Locktar out of danger now. Wang not so lucky. No stage dive to save him this time, as he might get up. No, denied by Win. Get back here, you fool.
Looks like that's going to be yet another altar in favor of CE. It's still okay for RPG to lose this one. They're not really, you know, close to dying and losing the game, but the game is shifting more and more in favor of CE. They're now going to get another bell tower. Misplay, actually. Did they just use the altar before getting the keep?
Yes, they did.
Oh, that's a pretty annoying mistake. Should not have happened.
Very true. They didn't want to. I don't know if it was just a mistake or they didn't want to take the risk or they just mistimed. Either way, that is one shot missed. If RPG now wins with one shot on their core, then that will be the most amusing thing to me. But the likelihood is quite low. As Paradise just clearing the camps. Nice burrow to just immediately deny the Drain Hope.
Yeah.
As Paradise going to take some damage, but he will be able to retreat to base. And yes, relatively reasonable health regen, especially due to reanimation.
Exactly, but you can really see how this cooldown reduction talent at level 7 for Dahaka when it comes to the Licky Sticky Tongues can be really good. Oh, they need to hold the line Infinity, that is.
One gets in. Guard the rest. Power slide being used. Immediate cleanse onto Win. Dahaka coming in, trying to drag in Stitches. Stitches gets a gorge here. Wang needs to come help his team, but they can't go too far because there's still a Sapper. And goodbye, Brightwing. Chicken gonna drop as well here. He's in trouble. Palm is dropped. That might save him. Won't save Infinity though. No, he goes down 2. Absolute devastation in this team fight. Lunara may have just killed herself. Poison. Tick. Tick.
Rippy.
Tick. So sad.
That's what it feels like, Lunara, to get poisoned and die. There we go.
Now you know how it feels. Lunara goes down. ETC, the only surviving member, trying to sustain here, trying to survive as his middle bell tower goes down as well.
Yeah.
Bottom's already taken. Middle's going to be taken. Top's alive and pretty healthy, but that's still going to mean that each one of these altars that are now spawning is going to be 6 shots.
Yeah, so up to a maximum of 18 core damage that could now just hail from the skies upon the red core.
They're actually going to go down to 1 health, and then RPG's going to turn around and win. I knew it! I called it! They're going down to 13. Here comes the next one. There is a bit of a scuffle. Okay, so RPG do get 2 back. So they're only going down to 7 health here.
Which is still not a great spot to be in. The boss is also open and ready for the taking. And I think CE can just grab this one. Easy peasy. RPG is going to be busy defending and recapturing their bell towers. So this boss should be pretty awesome to take for CE. And that lowers the core health down to 4. So 1 future altar capture or 1 or 2 mercenary turn-ins near the death zone could be enough for CE to put this game to an end. Now KTY trying to be cheeky, trying to go in. Look how they can't just tank this all the way through. Healing totem, the Uther heals. Win is just being such a bro.
1 camp is all that is now needed for CE. 1 full Sapper camp with 3 health remaining.
Yep.
That's still difficult. That's a lot of enemies to burn past to get there. Right now, we're actually seeing CE guarding the bell tower that they've already taken here, looking for a cheap kill and also to delay RPG's rotations.
Yep, they need to catch someone. Paradise is a long Wraith walk.
This could be regrets. Entomb's there, but in comes the teleport. No follow-up. The rest of the team isn't here. Infinity from behind finds a Lufel. Is just going full ham on him. Come at me as Infinity gets comboed. Palm keeps him alive. Infinity lives. They're turning onto the Leoric, who's still alive. Infinity gets taken down. Emerald win as a potential disengage and a little bit of extra damage. But this fight is over with Infinity down. It's a 5v4. Even the Lunara damage is enough. Mosh Pit finally being used, but everyone's in full retreat. Chickens dropped. Only Wang and Loktar remaining. Loktar will escape. Wang is unlikely to be so lucky. Yeah. Down he goes.
Yeah, I mean, it was all in or nothing here for RPG. They had to make something happen, otherwise that altar would have been lights out anyway. KTY Monkas? No, he lives to see yet another day. Dropping the casual CE spray, which is probably the most frequently used spray that I'm using at the moment. So definitely looks good.
Yeah, mine, almost certainly mine as well. And the dream of the 1 health core goes down down to 0. As CE take the 2-0, they move up to that tied first place position with SPT.
There were so many things that went wrong for RPG at some point, but it was not because they played poorly, in my opinion. It was just that CE was on a different level today. They really showed up finally after a weak first week. They managed to find the rhythm to go for strong drafts, which has been the most crucial weakness, in my opinion, for them in week 1. But they finally showed up. They go for strong heroes. Paradise has improved so much throughout this HGC China season. So, well-deserved victory. And RPG once again not managing to really get those juicy 3 points and secure themselves a midfield, mid-tier spot in the table.
Exactly. And unfortunately, that means that RPG is still pretty close to the bottom. They are, I believe, currently tied last place still. Is the location yesterday updated?
Yeah, they are. I believe, yeah.
Yes, they are. So if Hot Lady are able to take a game off Soa, RPG will drop down to the bottom of the table.